Hello everybody and welcome to Bona Retsang, the only youth news and magazine show in Mzansi. This show is a platform for you guys to voice your opinions and views on anything that is happening in and around your community.
And we are from Wena, so you can drop us a comment on our Facebook page and or our Twitter page on @Bona Retsang. For more information on the show, o ka re sheba hele qepheng la rone la mane la computing makgo ha ba bitsa ba re ke website on www.bonaretsang.co.za.
Thanks for that, Mtoba, but for now, let's see what you guys can look forward to on today's show. First up, we hear more from you guys about Freedom Day.
We then travel to Syria on World WhatsApp.
We see what your culture and tradition means to you.
And then Bogoman Boba gives us his wrap-up of this week's news. Looks like we have another jam-packed informative show lined up just for you. Now let's get this show on the road and go straight into our Big Buzz story.
Yes, and today on the Big Buzz, MC takes a look at what you, the youth of Mzansi, feel about Freedom Day.
I feel really proud about South Africa right now because it's a diverse country whereby everyone is free and there are some rights that we all have here in South Africa.
What freedom means to me is being able to do what I want.
Wenza noma yinto ethandayo uba free without ukukusaba ukuthi okay mangenza into enakanje bona kuzoba kanzima ngithola.
South Africa's democracy is 19 years old. If South Africa was a child, it should have matriculated and would be either studying further or working. However, taking into consideration the inequality across the nation, our weak education system, safety and leadership challenges amongst many other issues, is South Africa the child that every parent wants to have at the age of 19?
Some South African citizens, they don't go to school, they don't respect their home, they make crime and rape.
I don't feel free because I can't wear whatever that I like hopper maybe mini skates, so there are funny comments, you know.
Abantu abancane abafana nje abangangami bayabhema bayaphuza babuya ngenkathi maybe ngabo 12 so.
We celebrated our 19th Freedom Day last week Saturday. A day later, Free South Africans caused an injury to a 5-year-old child in the head during a robbery at a casino in Johannesburg. Young Anine Boyson wasn't lucky enough to listen to President Zuma celebrate South Africa's 19th year of freedom because she was raped and left for dead by Free South Africans. Free South Africans at Rainland Village in Limpopo listened to Jacob Zuma's speech with dry mouths because they haven't had water for up to 5 months. We can complain as much as we want as Free South Africans, but do we realize that the power to change the future is in our hands?
Now, because of we live free, we must excel in whatever that we engage from freedom to our future.
Because don't get into like South Africa, you just have to work for it all. They can promise us things, but they don't mean which we have to sit down or which is tall.
Mina sho ngisipushe business lami ngithola yabona la ekhaya. Abongipayisa amaswiti ama-ice abona nana.
Regardless of where you're coming from, you might be successful, a young graduate might be successful, but coming from a shack, but they've made something out of it. People are demotivated, blaming it on their circumstances, and that's not supposed to happen.
An election will take place next year and born frees will be eligible to vote for the first time.
I don't think I want to see anything changing. As the way I'm seeing things, I feel happy.
I see South Africa changing into a better country with a lot of changes like low crime rate and the high number of literacy here in South Africa.
I wish everybody learn and then become successful by get it and stop saying government.
The turnout of next year's elections will show where the young people of South Africa want to be when the Free South Africa turns 20 next year. Mtoba Chapi, Bona Retsang. 19 years of freedom. Now that's a milestone. I hope you guys celebrated your Freedom Day well. And remember how far this country has come.
That's right, Mtoba, but next on the lineup is World What's Up, and today we travel all the way to Syria to find out more about the ever-continuing civil war.
The people of Syria stood up against 4 decades of dictatorship after being inspired by the uprising of countries like Egypt and Libya during the Arab Spring in 2011. 2 years later, the country is still in civil war.
I don't know what's happening in Syria right now.
No, I don't know anything about Syria.
Well, I don't know much about what's happening in Syria, but I heard that there's an ongoing armed struggle.
I don't know exactly what they're fighting for.
More than 2 million Syrian children have been put in danger because of an ongoing civil war. The war has also forced 2,000 schools to shut down, meaning that children do not have anything to do and their future seems uncertain.
Right now, children are getting involved in things that they're not supposed to be involved in them. I mean, their future is really based on the education that they get. So if they lack education, especially now, then that means their future is destroyed.
This is not the first time that Syrians have taken up arms against the dictatorship. 10,000 Muslim Brotherhood members were killed in 1982 when they tried to overthrow Syria's then president, Hafez al-Assad, the father of Syria's current president, Bashar al-Assad. President Francois Hollande of France and British Prime Minister David Cameron want to give weapons to the rebels so that they can win the war. But is violence the only way that the conflict in Syria can be sorted?
It's useless for people to fight when they're in a conflict. They must sit down and sort out their differences, and hopefully they'll come up with a solution.
Negotiations will be a good way, because what people want, they might sit down and talk about everything that they want, the negotiations between the government and the people, because the government is there because of the people.
Many children in Syria and those who have been forced to flee to neighboring countries like Turkey are hoping that the war can end soon so that they can go back to school, live in a proper home, and go socialize with other children like it is in other countries around the world.
Well, that was our World What's Up for this week. Now let's see what else has been happening in the news this past week on News Recap.
Many bus commuters, especially in the big cities, have been left without service as the national bus strike entered its second week. Bus drivers are asking for a wage increase of 13%. Commuters have been forced to use alternative transport like taxis that are more expensive than buses and trains that are usually slower than buses. A 5-year-old girl was injured in the head after a shootout between police and robbers at Emperor's Palace last Sunday. A gang of 19 people robbed the casino but were stopped by police. 15 of them were caught on the scene. Doctors are not yet sure about the pace of the little girl's recovery. 63 million cell phones are currently in use in South Africa despite the country having a population of 51 million people. President Jacob Zuma told the nation on Freedom Day, saying that this is a sign of progress in the communications sector. I'm still shocked that there are 63 million cell phone users with a population of only 51 million people. Now, lights, camera, action, it's now time for us to find out what has been happening in the world of Umgosi.
It's that time again for your entertainment news on Umgosi. Now, many people have been wondering why Chris Brown and Rihanna decided to get back together after their public breakup, where Brizzy was charged with assault after hitting Rihanna. Seems like Brizzy's father is not happy with this decision of the two getting back together. He further said that the two don't have a balance, and balance is really needed in a relationship. Let the lovebirds do their thing, Mr. Brown. Sticking with international news, will.i.am is fighting against all claims that he has been stealing tracks from other artists and passing them off as his own. The former Black Eyed Peas frontman is said to have stolen a track from a Russian DJ Arty, who released a song called Rebound, which will.i.am then took and recorded a new version of the exact words with Chris Brown called Let's Go. will.i.am states that he did email the DJ and ask for permission, but DJ Arty says that the deal was not confirmed. will.i.am, I wonder how many other songs you've snatched from other artists. In local Umgosi, the Summer Awards are just around the corner, and I'm sure you're asking yourself, who will be the performing acts? Well, ask no more, because here is the lowdown. Headliner will be the Love Is in the Air pop star Toya Delezi, Afro Soul stars Lyra and Zonke, and new acts Shiana Sky, who has been nominated a lot, and Mr. I Deserve Donald will be rocking the stage. Well, that's it for this week's Umgosi.
Wow, I really cannot wait for the SAMA Awards. That lineup seems really good. MC, I heard that the gift bags at this year's SAMA Awards are reaching a value of 18,000 rand.
18 grand, bro.
18,000 rand, bro.
I wish I can get me some of that.
Life of
I wonder
celebs,
what is in that goodie bag for it to reach 18,000 rand. Now, when we return from the break, we bring you some Scamto to find out what your culture means to you. See you after this. You're back on Bona Retsang. Yep, the show that keeps you informed on what's been happening around the world. It's now time for Scamto.
And Scamto is where we explore your human rights through different topics. And today we explore how much your culture and traditions mean to you.
South Africa has many cultures and traditions which make us a rainbow nation. But does the youth of Mzansi understand their very own traditions and cultures?
I don't see the difference between the two.
The clothes that you wear, that's culture. And tradition, I think it's the laws that you follow.
I think culture is the way people live, and tradition is the beliefs, the things that we follow in our culture.
The way bengikhuliswe ngakhona ekhaya, it has to do with culture. I grew up in a household where standards, but at the same time sikwazi ukwenza zonke izinto lezi ezisondelene neculture nakho konke lokho.
Culture is what sometimes people would get accustomed to as they move along and they get introduced. People will get introduced to culture as they grow because cultures are different.
I'm a Pedi.
I'm Tswana.
I'm Zulu.
Okay, I'm a Sotho. I think that my tradition is that we as Pedi women, we have to respect our husbands. We have to wear in a proper manner. We don't just go around wearing short stuff.
Ngaba nasi siphandla ngagcatshwa, and we still go to izinyanga makukhona singakuboni kahle ekhaya. We still believe ukuthi khona ama ancestors. We do believe ukuthi abafile.
In Sotho we wear blankets and then some hats called midianyeo.
My tradition, it's all about dancing and rejoicing and stuff like that.
Uma sikhuluma nomuntu omdala sithula isigqoko. Siyasina, siyavunula, we slaughter cows if kukhona esifuna ukwenza in terms of ama rituals nakho konke lokho.
In our black tradition, we know that slaughtering, for instance, has always been part of our tradition and part of our upbringing. I'm the type of person who I go home and I slaughter. It's a legacy that my father left for me, and I believe that I have to carry it through.
So iculture yakusiza lapha in terms ukuthi ungazikhohlwa wena ukuthi ngubani uyapi. You understand? And it teaches you in terms of kunento a saying says umuntu ngabantu. You'll never know ukuthi umuntu ngabantu if ungesiyena umuntu. Umuntu kanjani uma ungazazi ukuthi uphuma phi.
Re thabela ho tseba hore mashaya ha lebala mo matswang teng. Now, what's next on the lineup, Zach?
Well, next on the lineup is Be Media Wise, where you guys get the chance to send us a video on an issue that may be affecting yourself or your community. And today's clip is on walking to school.
Dumelang batho ka moka ke nna Puputu wa Maleaka ke tswa ke le nageng ya Moletsi Kanana nna ke tsena sekolong Shakoleng secondary school mo Relanta then ke tla ka maoto sekolong because of apala iswa la itikanela a ba gone o ka ntirela transport ba mpatella ya mfitisha mo sekolong mo jalo ono khwetsa re le bana ba bantši jalo re eta ka maoto ntwe ke risk mo baneng ba bangwe ka gore sometimes re ba tswetse o tshwana le banenyana ba no katiwa so gore ba kera di problem nyana tša tshwana le tšana tše wena no khwetsa le sometimes re fitile sekolong re a punishiwa re tsene lata then lona re sa fetša mešomo ya rena ka lebaka la gore re fitile hae lata re sa fetša re šoma le mešomo ya ka hae mashu ke moka swantse re lile tafoleng re ngwale domo ke tša rena re be re bale ka bošuru ngwala ditest no khwetsa le gore sometimes a re kgone o ka covera nako ka moka jalo e re ke botšiša ba bangwe ba barutwana gore na bona ba kwa jang ka tabae Ragate Lawrence o ka tswa re botša gore na o ikwa jang ka tabae
ke itlwa ke le manyami ka tabe ge bana ba bangwe ba tsamaya sekolong e le baninyana ene ba tsamaya ba le tee o tla sekolong ene le gona re tsamaya dikilomitara tse ka bantse masome o tlo fitlha gona sekolong sa Shakoleng le gona re tsamaya ka maoto o khwetsa ge re fitlhile sekolong sa rena re lapile le gona a re kgone go theletša barutiši ba rena ka ge tlabe re lapile nako e nngwe re kgona go tshwara ke maroko le gona re kgona gore re fitlhile magae re fitlhe gae lata ka ge re tswa sekolong lata re kgone re palele ko go dira mešomo e mengwe ya sekolo ka lebaka la gore tla be re lapile ke a leboga
mana re matabola le wena o ka twa re botse gore na wena o ikonyang ka tabae.
Hi everyone, I'm not happy about this matter because women are traveling from far places to school and they are working with food. They are not having transport, so this could be a very big problem because women might get murdered or get raped. So this is not good at all. The government must try to give us a transport. As you can see, if we arrive school late, we are getting punished. As you can see, there are these learners who are punished. So it's not good for our school. So thank you.
Thank you, Paputa, for sending in your clip, and you have just won yourself a Casio watch to the value of 500 Rand. Please do hook us up with one of your clips, guys. We are always waiting. Send us your clips via BBM, WhatsApp, or Facebook. Post these clips and you too can win big. Make sure that they are not longer than 2 minutes, please, guys.
Now let us move on to Ringanati, and today we want to hear your views on girls wearing heels.
Labo chair bama-heels lawo zikhiphani ngabo nje sengithi uma nginibuza nje so nina nicabangani ngalabo chair bama-heels so
chair bama-heels ndoda abakhona like abanye uma begcoka ama-heels bayababeka bakhona labo bagcoka ama-heels for ukuchaza abantu like abanye nje babi baveza ama-portraits ama-heels nje akusinto e-right sometimes yabo zikhona like isikhathi ukuthi kufuneka umuntu agcoka ama-heels ngesikhathi esi-right not nasewindi
kahle nje abo chair bama-heel mfethu angibafrostani most yabo
enhle kulo mbuzo lo ucherry ogcoke attire fresh yena uyafrostane because bakhona abanye like us obona ukuthi okay hayi lona ucherry ngeke ngisengihlombe naye because of ugcoka into ezikaso izicebe into ezini but omunye ogcoka amaloko nawe uyabona emajideni uyahlazeka ngeke uvaye nocherry ngathi manje ugogo ufihle yabo.
Yeah, plus most of the time thina mawuthi abo-cherry mabagcoke first of all nabo as if nabo mabesibheka sibhekani ukuthi like ugcoke kanjani umuntu wakhona because like umuntu uqala umthanda ngokugcoka kwakhe mawuqeda umthanda like the way amile ngakhona.
Yazi manje khona into engingayi-understand ukuthi uzobona usharing ngokuthi ugcokeni kanjani mazombona kusasa sekavela lapho isigogwane ushaya into zakhe lezi engingamjwayelanga ngazo nizothini lapho uzomphika khona ukuthi akusiwe ngoba kasafani nayizolo yayibona leyo.
Those guys clearly know what they're talking about, but right now, let's take a look at how you guys responded to last week's poll question. We asked you, do you think eating healthy is more expensive? And 80% of you guys said yes.
Do you think that South Africa has got a bright future? You can log on to our Facebook page and select yes or no on our poll question, and we'll see what you guys think about this issue. It is now time for us to take a short break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Bona Retsang. Don't forget, guys, we love to hear your views and opinions, so please join us on our Facebook page by clicking the like button, or you can always drop us a tweet at Bona Retsang and tell us what's happening in your community.
Next up on the line is Coco, where we meet a young South African who is working towards their dreams. Let us find out who it is.
My name is Karabo Jenga. I'm 18, also known as DJ Specs. I realized DJing was something I was good at in 2010 when the name DJ Specs was getting bigger. One of my most memorable experiences was when I DJed with DJ Tuxin at a gig we did in Pimville for his niece's 21st birthday. It was one of the biggest events that I did because DJ Tuxin is one of South Africa's pioneers of sound. At the moment, I'm busy working on a company called the Canis Lupus Group with Tusani Lebisi and Songezo Makanda. It's basically a company where we do promotions, music, events, marketing. Yeah, basically giving upcoming artists a platform to perform, showing their talents. I'm inspired by DJ Black Coffee because with the Africa Rising tour, he's basically one of the DJs that have made me want to go after my dream. As with the Africa Rising tour, he's busy showing Africa how we should become one, with his track that he did, We Are One. He's showing that we should work together. One of my dreams is to also make South Africa become one, like work together as a country. Yeah. Well, in a couple of years, I see the name DJ Specs growing with a bigger fan base. I see myself going on to radios, TV shows, doing more community work. Hopefully, getting 1 or 2 gigs overseas, and yeah. Basically, what I have to say to the youth is, if you have a dream in becoming a DJ, go for your dream. Don't let anyone stop you. If you don't go for it, it's only gonna become a dream and nothing else. I'm DJ Specs and I'm the future's cock.
Wow, props Karabo. You started DJing at the age of 13 and it's absolutely amazing that you're still keeping it up. Keep pushing, brother, and keep the passion going.
Now, before we wrap up the show, I would really like to see what Boogman Boba has in store for us for today. Now, Zach, mfanagit, yes, science alone.
Obvious.
Hello and welcome to Bona Retsang. My name is Boogman Boba and I'm going to give you a wrap-up of the week's news. First up, the bus strike is in full force. The Patco bus is on strike, but never mind that, they're always on strike. Even the Gautrain bus is on strike. White people are crying for the first time of our bus strike. Oh my goodness, the buses are on strike. How am I going to get to work? Come on, white people, that is what taxis are for, man. Come on, get some creativity. Next up, the city of Cape Town says that they are short of 140 million rand to build the toilet in Khayelitsha. 140 million rand for toilets. This could actually mean that if they get this 140 million, the people of Khayelitsha could literally be sitting on millions. Former police commissioner Beki Cele had his car broken into this week by robbers and they stole 2 bottles of fine whiskey. He went crazy. This would never have happened if I was still in the force. Our community is under siege. If you were still in the force, Beki Cele, do you remember why you were fired? Let me just remind him why he was fired. He got fired because he was dishonest about 1.7 billion worth of police accommodation. 1.7 billion. 2 bottles of whiskey. 1.7 billion. 2 bottles of whiskey. I think the robbers would have made better police commissioners. Desmond Tutu got discharged from hospital this week. You see, you didn't even know that he was in hospital, did you? Come on, guys, you know why I didn't know? Because everyone is focused on Madiba. What about Desmond Tutu? When Madiba got out of hospital, people started dancing. Yeah, come on, guys, what about Desmond Tutu? Madiba's always taking the attention. But then you know what? I am just happy that Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela, our 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners, are recovering and going strong. And finally, the president of Botswana, Ian Khama, was attacked by a cheetah this week. I'm not talking about Adrian Strauss because we all know rugby players only attack Metro cops. I'm talking about a real cheetah, guys, a real cheetah. And he survived. That's the kind of guy you want to vote for in the next election. If you can survive a cheetah attack, you definitely deserve another term. Anyways, that's it from us here at Bona Retsang. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Hello, Black.